Hello, back here for another Bible reading. It is 11:58 p.m. on, what is it? It's a Monday? Yeah, Monday, March 2nd, 2026. We're back like we never left. Thank God that vacation was over. I almost lost my mind. I'm so glad to be home and working. Work is man's ultimate purpose. No, it's not serving Jesus, but work is integral to serving Jesus because you got to work hard. So, where were we? Oh, we were in Exodus chapter 19 at Mount Sinai. So, I'm going to read this chapter and then give some advice that I think I could have used when I was younger. So, Exodus chapter 19 at Mount Sinai. On the first day of the third month after the Israelites left Egypt, on that very day, they came to the desert of Sinai. After they set out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai, and Israel camped there in the desert in front of the mountain. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I have carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites." So Moses went back and summoned the elders of the people and set before them all the words the Lord had commanded him to speak. The people all responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought their answer back to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "I'm going to come to you in a dense cloud, so that the people will hear me speaking with you and will always put their trust in you." Then Moses told the Lord what the people had said. And the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Have them wash their clothes and be ready by the third day, because on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Put limits for the people around the mountain and tell them, 'Be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the foot of the mountain is to be put to death. They are to be stoned or shot with arrows. Not a hand is to be laid on them. No person or animal shall be permitted to live. Only when the ram's horn sounds a long blast may they approach the mountain.'" After Moses had gone down the mountain to the people, he consecrated them, and they washed their clothes. Then he said to the people, "Prepare yourselves for the third day. Abstain from sexual relations." On the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning, with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke, because the Lord descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled violently. As the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people so they do not force their way through to see the Lord, and many of them perish. Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up Mount Sinai, because you yourself warned us. Put limits around the mountain and set it apart as holy." The Lord replied, "Go down and bring Aaron up with you. But the priests and the people must not force their way through to come up to the Lord, or he will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them. Okay, brief reflection. That chapter was very interesting because I never actually recalled that right before Moses gave the Ten Commandments, he actually met with a somewhat physical manifestation of God. And no one can know God's true form, but it's interesting how they describe the valley trembling and smoke descending upon the mountain, along with thunder and the sound of trumpets. Sounds like something God would conjure up. So very cool. That was chapter 19. Now, just may want to speak on some advice I had for young men, including advice I wish I had, especially in high school. Um, I would say that I was someone who was more reserved and quiet, and I didn't like to talk a lot, partially because I had some self-confidence issues, but also because I didn't like people who talked too much. I thought they um, were just kind of seeking attention and uh, were vain, and I didn't enjoy listening to meaningless ramblings. But what I've discovered recently is that being able to speak eloquently and convey very complex points to people who are possibly even smarter than you is one of the only ways you're going to be able to survive in the workforce, because you have to be able to get people who have been working for sometimes 20, 30 years on very complicated subject matters to respect you and your opinions on a team. And the fact of the matter is, if you're not able to convey your thoughts well and you just sound like you're rambling on, no one's going to pay attention to what you have to say, even if you have the right information. You see people all the time who are great communicators, and that's why they're so successful. They may not even have a lot of technical knowledge. After all, there's a reason why engineers who know the most about products are not the ones who run the company. It's the C-suite positions, people who are in more communicative roles, who bring people together. So I would just say that practice talking, especially as guys when you're with your friends. Usually you're not, discussing things that have much value, and you're just kind of making surface level jokes, which is fine. There's a place for that. But at the same time, make sure you're having real conversations about things that matter in your life with your friends. You should be able to talk about real things with your friends. Otherwise, they're not really your friends. They're just like an acquaintance that you can joke around with. So when you're, a great way to practice is when you're with family. Make an effort to talk about interesting things. Use your voice, develop that skill, because it's going to pay great dividends for you in the future. And I understand that sometimes it can feel like, hey, I just don't want to talk about a bunch of nothing because that's useless. And but just don't fall into the trap of silence. Don't be silent all the time. Make sure that you are practicing thinking very complicated thoughts and uh, working on your ability to deliver them in speech eloquently. That's so important. And the more you work on that when you're young, the better you're going to be. I mean, some people, excuse my language, they just bullshit for a living. Why can they do that? Because they got good at it. So how are you going to be able to compete with those people when you have something real to say? They can just drown you out if you don't know how to speak, right? So don't be inactive and see the value in communicating. If you want to be a leader one day, communication is essential. I mean, this guy is not a good guy, but how do even evil people like Hitler rise to power? Communication. So I'm not saying, of course, don't be Hitler. He's evil. But I mean, what if there was someone who was able to speak just as eloquently against his claims? Be that person. Use the power of eloquent communication. Don't be silent. Use your voice. Basically, talk more. Talk more, but don't yap. That's the lesson. And lately, I've just been realizing how important that is, because either the wrong people are talking way too much, and you have to be able to go toe to toe with them. Otherwise, they're just going to go da, 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 and you're done. Or you're going to be shy, and one day you're going to have important things to say, and you're going to have no way to convey them. And that's horrible. I believe everyone who's watching this is created in the image of God and has beautiful ideas and thoughts that need to be conveyed. So listen well and speak well too. That's today's lesson. All right, I'm going to bed. Hope you have a blessed day if it's daytime, or if it's nighttime, have a blessed evening/night. Bye.